Jill on the mic. It's about to get real. Keep it live, that's right. From Pennsylvania to across the globe, it's time for the Steelers All-Star Show.
Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-hosts Nick and Jill. How are you folks doing this wonderful Saturday morning?
Okay, I am doing lovely. I've got my Winter Wonderland Alani. Sponsor us, please. We shout them up out enough. Listen, they brought Sherbert Swirl back as a permanent flavor, and I'm just so happy about that. So happy. Anyway, Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's an early morning show, but I'm up. I'm excited. It's going to be, as I've mentioned, our second bye week here. As long as we play to as long as we play the standard is the standard, and not just play down to the brownies. So, James, how are you doing this morning?
It's an exciting day in the day of football. That's for sure. We get to watch a game non-Steelers and be vested in it because it actually makes a difference. So, if you're unaware, tonight is Packers versus Ravens, and if the Packers beat the Ravens, then the Steelers versus Browns kind of doesn't matter. Now, there's still a possibility Pittsburgh could get the number 3 seed versus the number 4 seed, but it will guarantee them the AFC North, which does allow you to rest some of these guys that are banged up. But we're going to get to all of that fun stuff. First things first, we had some transactions and some awards doled out from last week. Starting off with Jaylen Warren, and it's much deserved in my opinion. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's give him a round of applause. Jaylen Warren wins AFC Ground Player of the Week. How do you guys feel about that?
10 out of 10. Well, like you said, James, well deserved. I mean, he is angry runner. He fights tooth and nail for every yard that he gains, and I just love to see him getting recognized for that.
It's making the Steelers look so good for giving him that extension, because for a while they're like, is Jaylen Warren going to be able to be that guy? He's always had the backup role. This is really his first opportunity to kind of step into the lead back sort of role. And the Steelers kind of gave him that extension without really giving him the chance to prove that he could do it. But they saw that he had the potential to do it, and now he's proving them right. So it's good to see that when you put your confidence in a guy, and he's that type of workhorse mentality, that he's going to come out and he's going to show you that he's doing exactly what you paid him to do. So I didn't have the doubt in Jaylen Warren. I think a lot of people did. But with the mentality that he has, kind of coming up as a UDFA and then really kind of, just working his way the whole way, you didn't expect that to slow down once he was given the nod. So it's a great thing to see, and great to see him get some recognition for it too, from the league, and not just from his teammates and the Steelers and the organization, but league-wide kind of recognition for what he's really accomplished, because it is an accomplishment. It's not just, I'm a talented guy. He works for it. And like Jill said, he fights for the yards. He fights for getting that first down. And it's really a nice thing to have on the team, is a guy that works hard and doesn't just have the gifts to go out there and do things. Not that he's not a gifted guy, but that's his mentality, is I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pound you and I'm going to work for it.
Absolutely. I'm pretty excited about this too. That gets the pop of the week for me. Just, you couldn't be happier for the guy. He's really just worked so hard to get to this point, to stick around and be the feature back. I know he's kind of splitting the role with Kenny Gainwell, who's doing an excellent job this year as well. But it really looks like a steal to sign him for $5 million a year now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what starting running backs in the league are getting paid $5 million a year that aren't on their rookie deal? Not a whole lot of them. So, and I'm excited for him to have the chance to get to 1,000 yards, but he needs 2 good games still. I want to say he's right around 170, like a little bit over 170 yards away from 1,000 yards. But the big difference for me here is that the last 3 feature backs, maybe even 4 of them, just didn't have that home run speed, right? If they hit a hole, you get 10 or 15 yards, and that was a big run.
Yeah.
And last week we see 2 45-yarders that he breaks off for touchdowns. And at the end, you're not worried about somebody catching him from behind either.
Mm-hmm.
No, so it's a whole different ball game from Najee Harris. And I like Najee, but it's just not the same. It's different from James Conner, who James, again, like born in Erie, Pennsylvania, just like me, went to McDowell High School just like me. Like, I got a soft spot for this guy. I really like James Conner. He runs really hard. He was never a fast dude, and he was never going to be. Even Le'Veon Bell didn't really break a lot of them for long touchdown runs.
No, he just created the space.
Yeah, was he dangerous after the catch too. But yeah, this is just a whole different ball game. The speed that we've got at this position now, all of a sudden, so really exciting to see Jalen get that award, and well deserved in all three of our opinions. Pro Bowl's in, right? And we got three guys. We've got T.J. Watt, Ben Skoranek, and Jalen Ramsey. And again, I want opinions on this because maybe some of those guys a little more deserving than others. Maybe some guys snubbed, in my opinion. There's one defensive lineman who is definitely snubbed, but I want to hear you two on this.
I mean, we kind of talked in our group chat about, I was really hoping for a breakout season, even more so than in his past for TJ. And this just has not been the season. I mean, I predicted 23 sacks for him. Or however many, I was like 23, he's got it. And I look quite silly now. So,
hey, it was the bold prediction show, Jill. You're good. It was bold predictions.
Bold prediction, but the thing is, I had a little bit, I was like, if anybody can do it, it's TJ. And now I'm like, oh, he works hard, and there are obstacles that he has to overcome that I don't like, that we notice on every play, that I think is what got him there. But, there is a lot of this being popularity, and I think his name might have carried at least a part of that into the Pro Bowl. I mean, he works so hard. So to see someone like him be voted in, I still think is great. But do I think there are other players on the team that maybe had a better season than him? Yes, I do.
Shout out.
Skoranek's my guy. Listen, Skoranek's my guy. I've been saying for multiple weeks, I'm like, he is the unsung hero of this team. He is such a great gunner. So deserving. And now, ever since Ramsey moved to safety and we've seen him light it up at safety, I'm like, you know what? Full send, go ahead. Have fun.
Yeah.
I hope that none of them actually have to show up, because what are the odds that we would be in the Super Bowl and it doesn't even matter? Tinfoil hat.
Seems to be getting better and better. I don't know.
Put them on. Yeah, I've got to shout out Footballing with Ben Roethlisberger, another solid podcast that I enjoy listening to. And I was listening as I was walking my dog the other night, and they both sort of said, maybe not TJ, but they also said, what other guy do you have to completely change your defensive scheme for when he's still on the field? So, I mean, like they said, some of it's popularity of the fans, all that stuff. They mentioned like who all gets to vote for the Pro Bowl and all that kind of thing, and how it's weighted and all that. So, and like other players have a key role in who gets selected to the Play Bowl as well. So you got to figure out that the team sort of rallied around TJ a bit as well. So I don't know how exactly it's all weighted, but you kind of figure that that's a little bit of how he got in, even though his season wasn't as lights out as it has been in the past. They both mentioned, they gave a nod to Highsmith and Boswell on Footballing with Ben Roethlisberger, saying they should have been in. But I know who James wants to go in, and I agree with him. I think Cam Hayward should have definitely been selected for this Pro Bowl, and he definitely has been snubbed this year. And you all know my feelings about Skoranek. We were talking about it in the group chat, where my phone will not let me type Skoranek in lowercase letters anymore because I've typed it in capital letters so often. So you all know how I feel about it. I think, honestly, the most deserving player in the NFL for the Pro Bowl selection this year, just with how he's been tearing it up at his position without the use of his thumb for a couple of weeks. He broke his thumb and had it taped up. He's back to being a full participant with that hand injury. So excited to see him this week against the Brownies. Although I hope we aren't punting very much. We'll have the opening kickoff of a quarter or of a half, and then hopefully Skoranek doesn't have any gunner duties for the rest of the game. So I'd just like to see the offense go out there and light up the Brownies this week. But yeah, very deserving for him. Love what we've seen out of Ramsey at safety. seemed to just elevate his play as he's getting a little bit older here. Lets him kind of roam the field and be the bully that he's always kind of wanted to be. Steelers have mentioned that they were studying him out of the draft process, knew they probably couldn't get him because they didn't have the high enough pick, but they looked at him more as a safety then than they did as a corner, is what they were saying when we were acquiring him in the trade this offseason. So really excited to get him to see that position that we kind of have always wanted him to play, even since he entered the league, and we never had any chance of getting him. And it's showing that it's Pro Bowl worthy, and that's a great thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's neat to see through that trade too. Now from 100% hindsight, Pittsburgh is probably getting better performance out of Jalen Ramsey at safety than Minka Fitzpatrick is playing in Miami. And Miami's using him very much so as a slot corner because of all the injuries there. And that's just not, that was the whole reason he begged his way out of Miami in the first place, because he didn't want to play slot corner. Now that's what he's doing because they really just don't have any bodies left there. So, yeah, I've been impressed with Jalen, his physicality back there. And all reports are that he's been one of the glue guys in the locker room who's really helped this team rally these last few weeks and kind of called out the guys in the room saying, hey, we have too much talent in this room to not be playing better on defense than we are. So that's a wonderful thing. When you hear other leaders in that room saying, hey, Jalen spoke up and the guys listened, that's incredible to hear that kind of thing, that kind of leadership. So I'm excited for what he can do in the future with a full year, hopefully, in the future of him and just one guy next to him. Instead of 1 week, I get Elliott. 1 week, I get Thornhill. 1 week, I get Duggar. 1 week, I get Chuck Clark. 1 week, I get Jabril Peppers. It's been a revolving door of who's been back there with him, and he's still playing at a really high level. So I'm very impressed with him. We can't say enough good things about Ben Skoranek on this show. It's just very, very pro Ben Skoranek podcast. There's no doubt about that.
Come on the show, Ben. Come on the show.
We got a shot with Skoranek. You never know. We should reach out to him. TJ, I absolutely love TJ. When you look at the numbers, it's not as good as a year as it has been in the past. A lot of teams just kind of run away from him and double and triple teamed him all year. So I know that's a large factor as to why his production isn't as big as normal. And it doesn't look like it's going to really change this upcoming week, unfortunately. But, yeah, Cam Hayward is everything to me. The way he's playing this year, he's just completely unstoppable against the run. In the last few weeks, he's starting to really turn it on with the pass rush, too, which is just going to make things a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks when Alex Highsmith's coming up the edge and you have no choice but to step up. And when you step up, you're right in the lap of Cam Hayward. You're right in the lap of Keanu Benton and Derek Harmon. These guys have to get that push in the middle, and they're doing it. And it all starts with Cam. He leads by example. He's like, 36 years old and still dominating all these guys dang near half his age. So just a very impressive thing. I hope he's one of those, like, top alternates and ends up getting in after one or two guys doesn't go with an injury or something. But
really, we're hoping.
Yeah,
really, we're hoping the Super Bowl so that we don't have any of them.
Then he doesn't go at all. Yep.
Get that.
New man on the roster. Unfortunately, the DK Metcalf suspension upheld. So that does create an additional spot on the roster for those 2 games. And the Steelers bring in cornerback Trey Flowers, a tall veteran guy. He's 6'3", 203. Vines like arms, they say. Arms like vines, almost 34-inch long arms. So big, tall, long dude. I expect him to take gunner work right away because that is something that Brandon Eccles was doing. That is something James Pierre was excelling at. Looks like we might not have both of them for this upcoming game, unfortunately. So that kind of moves things in the direction that you need somebody else out there, and you really don't want to put Asante Samuel or Joey Porter out there. You need them as fresh as can be for every defensive snap. So I feel like this is probably going to be a big special teams move, but we'll see how this plays out. Neither one of you have any opinions on that or want to talk on the DK suspension?
I mean, it's upheld. There's not much you can do about it. I know there's the Lions fan has lawyered up at this point, so who knows what's going to happen there.
He had a press conference yesterday, but
Yeah.
then it was on mute, so you couldn't even hear what was happening. It
Yeah.
just is idiocracy, in my opinion. Like, just all, you know, he's getting his reward is what is all I think about. Like,
Yeah. I don't want to
to.
speculate too much, but it almost feels to me, and this is all just speculation, there's no anything really founded to it. But when you know the guy's been following DK around since Seattle, and that most of the videos you see of the conversation between the two of them, you can hear what's going on away from them, but you can't really hear what either of them are saying. It doesn't really all add up. And then he's sitting there in his suit with his lawyer and his Lions hat backwards, and you're like,
Be so for real. Ugh.
yeah. Well, it just seems like he's looking for a payday, and it seems like that's where it's going. So, just it's strange adult activity to be following a professional athlete around, clearly trying to get his attention, because people are like, oh, DK just walked up and grabbed a fan. No, the fan was walking down, calling out to DK, hanging over the thing, holding a Steelers jersey. So it wasn't just like, it wasn't just like a random, oh, DK's going to walk over and start talking to a fan. No, he was trying to get DK's attention. So I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that, because it's just speculation anyway, but it's a strange scenario all around.
Here's what's not speculation. This dude's a troll. He had a lawyer on call. Like the day after the game, he was already talking to people in the media with a lawyer next to him. So he had every intention of going to the game and being a troll and trying to do something malicious towards players. And honestly, this whole thing, I'm just disappointed in the NFL for not protecting its players.
Yeah.
Like, you really want fans to come to games and just scream whatever obscenities they want? I thought we wanted it to be a family-friendly environment. So guys are going to be allowed to just come there and try to rage bait every NFL player all year long and just cuss whatever cuss words they want and insult their families and throw racist terms at them, and there's zero repercussions. Like, yeah, it's a real disappointing thing for me, for the NFL, to not protect their players better in this situation.
Yeah.
There's enough angles been released at this point that we know DK Metcalf did not throw a punch. He grabbed him by his hair and then threw him back. Like, there was no punch thrown. So we can't even claim that, like this dude tried to claim with his lawyer, that he was punched. There was not even any contact made other than grabbing his wig, which last time I knew, grabbing someone by their wig does not hurt.
It's nice you weave.
So yeah, just a very frustrating thing for me all around there. DK in the end has to just hold his temper better than that. You're gonna have trolls in life, and you can't let them ruin your day. So let's move on to the injury report here. Then it's a pretty lengthy one on both sides of things. We'll start off with the Steelers injuries first. Jill, do you have something you want to add there?
Well, I was going to say, I have it pulled up if you want.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
I got you. So it looks like Jalen Ramsey did not participate Thursday and Friday due to an illness. He is questionable for the game. We've got Calvin Austin and Brandon Echols are both out. They did not participate. Calvin's with that nagging hamstring, Echols with the groin, which I know can be tricky. And especially with this game, hopefully if tonight goes the way that we want it to go, they'll just get the earned rest and can heal up. Sam Alu is still questionable. He was limited all week. That's still with that tricep injury. And then TJ Watt is officially listed out for the game, which is what I think we were all hoping for anyway. It would be kind of insane to play him at this point with that lung. And so then just a couple other notable people. Rodgers with his wrist, he was full all week. Skoranek with his hand, he was full all week. Warren with his hip, he was limited, and then he was full Thursday, Friday. I forgot Pierre with his calf is out. Sorry, forgot that one. Kuntz is full as of Friday. Herbig was full with the hamstring as of Friday. He started limited, but then ended full. And then Cam did not participate Friday, but it's because of what does Cody always say? Contusion of the
birth certificate. Yeah. That's the Tomlinism right there. That's a direct Tomlin quote.
So, confusion of the birth certificate for Cam. It's okay. You know what? When you're doing that great of a job, you deserve all the rest you need. So,
yeah,
the rest you want. All right. So then, do you want me to go to the Browns?
No, let's speak on it real quick on the key ones here. So I think the big stuff here, obviously, with DK out, Calvin out, also, this is a huge opportunity for Roman Wilson. He's going to dress in this game. He's most likely going to play and get a chance to prove himself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. The only reason that he isn't playing is because the team needed guys out there that knew exactly what to do in these scramble drills and run routes a little bit more precisely than what they were getting. So it was purely because of Marquez Valdez-Scantling and because of the other wide receiver there.
Thielen.
Adam Thielen. I don't know why the name was escaping me, and I didn't want to say the white wide receiver.
Thielen.
It didn't want to be that guy, but there it is anyway, I guess. So huge opportunity for Roman Wilson. And then on the opposite side of things with both Pierre and Eccles out, that's huge. That's our number 2 and number 3 corners right now.
Yeah.
So Asante Samuel Jr. once again will be getting the start opposite of Joey Porter Jr., which is a great opportunity for him. But what do they do when it comes to nickel formations? The Browns do run a lot of 2 tight end sets, which means you don't use your nickel in that, which you would love to see in this game because that'll play directly into our strengths and not force guys onto the field that we don't want on the field necessarily. So I don't know how they're going to play this in nickel. Is it going to be Jalen Ramsey scooting the nickel and Chuck Clark going back to safety? That's going to be my guess. But I would like to see a whole lot of base defense. A lot of base 3-4.
It'll be interesting, too, to see if they do play a lot of 2 tight end sets because they've had some attrition to that room. And I know we're going to get to their injury report in a second here. But if they do, who's the second tight end? I don't know if they have. I mean, hopefully they elevated one on the roster and we get to see it because, like you said, James, that would be ideal for us. But I just don't know. Are they just going to trot another offensive lineman out there? Do they have another offensive lineman to trot out there? Like, I'm not sure how they're going to make that work with the players that they have available to them at this point in the season. Brownies might be going for that number 1 spot by the end of the year, depending on how things play out. So very interesting to see who they even trot out there when we're playing them this week.
Also real excited for Herbig to be back. That's going to be great for Jack Sawyer, keep him a little fresher throughout the game. And then we'll see the guard rotation, the offensive line on the left side looked really good last week. So I kind of hope to see a lot of the same with Dylan Cook at left tackle. Let's rotate Pete and Spencer Anderson at left guard like last week. They kind of rotated the 2 of them through. And I thought it worked out really well. I mean, obviously, if you run for 230 yards and a lot of it goes to the left side behind these backup offensive linemen, they're doing something right. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Anything either one of you want to talk about any more on that before we move to the Browns side of the injuries?
I'm just interested to see who takes what role from the wide receiver room this week. We'll probably see Thielen be a little bit more of an outside guy if I had to guess. Scotty Miller, we're going to probably see a healthy dose of. So it'll be very interesting and exciting to see what we have in some more of these back of the roster guys. I believe they also signed a practice squad wide receiver just in case. I think it said Brandon Johnson.
Yeah, Brandon Johnson.
So
yeah,
should be fun.
I think Ramsey being questionable. I think Ramsey's going to play, but he did not participate on Thursday or Friday because of an illness. And so when it's just illness, you don't know if it's like stomach, if it's bronchitis, we don't have the liberty of knowing that. So just hoping he's fully healthy for Sunday. Or again, you know what? Tonight the Packers could win, and it doesn't matter who's back there in the secondary. We'll just let it. It'll be fine.
That's best case scenario, because you're right. If for some reason Ramsey can't go, we're really in trouble in the secondary, especially in the corner room. So
right.
Chuck Jugs Machine Clark all day.
How many almost interceptions will we have? That's the new bet. Over under on almost interceptions.
That's kind of a Kyle Duggar thing too. He's got a few drops on the season too. So I mean, at least they're getting their hands on the ball. I'll give them that.
They're breaking it up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yes, do we want that to be a turnover? Absolutely. But at least they're there, and it's not going to the opposite team. You know?
They're forcing the incompletions. We'll call it that for the best case scenario instead of talking about dropped interceptions.
Yes. Perfect.
So it seems like the Browns have a few guys out and a ton of questionables. What do you got for us on that, Joe?
Yeah, so kind of what Nick alluded to earlier, Njoku is out. He did not participate all week. He's listed as knee and not injury-related personal.
Oh.
So, right.
AKA I'm going to be a free agent after this season.
When you read the linebacker is out. He was limited all week, but he's listed as out. Teller was also limited all week. Oh no, he's questionable. Let me look here. Trying to go through. So Njoku and Reed are the only ones that are officially ruled out at this point. A lot of questionables. Harold Fannin Jr. is questionable. He was limited on Friday. We've got Dylan Gabriel, who was limited. Shadur's getting the start, so it doesn't matter. Miles Harden was questionable. He was limited all week. Sam Kamara was also limited all week and is listed as questionable. Dylan Sampson, limited all week and is listed as questionable as well.
And Sampson's now their feature back because other rookie running back Quinshon Judkins broke his leg. So, they're facing a lot of attrition just like we are. So, it's not going to be necessarily the same number of people out that we have, but definitely people with nagging injuries if they do dress. So things that can be exploited. If you're hitting hard, you might be able to knock a guy off the field for a couple of plays. Not that you want to injure a guy, but you can at least, make him think twice about playing full contact if he's got a nagging injury. So you're never trying to go out there and headhunt, but you can play to, hey, I'm going to play physical and you're going to have to deal with that. So if you that can get into a guy's head, make him not hit as hard, make him hesitate, make him drop a ball, play a little bit of the mental games by playing physically. So hopefully we can take advantage of that.
Yeah, that Quinshon Judkins injury was a pretty brutal one. If you don't like to hear about injuries, mute the podcast for about 5 seconds here. I understand broken femur and dislocated ankle all on the same play. So how you managed to do that, I don't know, but that sounds horrific. You got to worry about whether or not the guy is going to be ready to go at the beginning of next season after a nasty injury that bad. But we'll hope for the best for Quinshon Judkins. We have no reason to wish ill.
Worst for the Browns, best for him.
Right. For each individual.
Get him 1 year closer to free agency. So on to the Browns offensive side of the roster here. Obviously, we like to start at quarterback. Shador Sanders being their starting quarterback with Dylan Gabriel. Shador's been very up and down this season. When he has a bad game, it's horrific. It's 2, 3, 4 interceptions, less than 100 yards passing. When he has good games, it's usually a lot of deep balls completed and a lot of dump offs to Harold Fanning. So that injury to Fanning is a very, very monumental thing. Fanning's been their leading receiver by, I want to say, 20-plus catches on the season this far. So that's just a very devastating thing for him to be injured for them. Running back room, we just talked about it. Dylan Sampson now listed as the starter with Raheem Sanders backing him up. So Raheem would get the start if Dylan can't go with that hand. So we'll see how that treats him. Wide receiver room, we've got Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman backing them up, Isaiah Bond and Malachi Corley. The tight end room, Harold Fannin Jr., we just talked about him. He is injured, questionable. We're not sure whether or not he'll be able to go. A groin injury is a tough thing, man. Yeah. That means you can't really cut and change directions without being in a lot of pain. So I'm imagining if he tries to play, he'll probably get a pain injection in that area in an attempt to play through it. Hopefully that doesn't play out for him like it did for Jerome Bettis that one year where he missed a playoff game because the shot was missed and it hit a nerve. Yeah.
Horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, we've had some bad luck in the playoffs. That was a playoff game, and he missed the game because of it. Backing him up, we've got Brendan Bates. So I would assume they probably have some tight ends on the practice squad, and I would imagine the Browns to call one up, being that you could possibly only have one healthy tight end for the game if you're looking at them. They list Njoku also. Actually, I'm sorry. They have two tight ends listed as starting in Njoku and Fannin. We know Njoku's out. Blake Whiteheart is also a tight end on this team. So they do have three tight ends going into this still. They would normally have four, but with Njoku out, still three more bodies there. Offensive line is one of the worst in the entire NFL. I've been saying this for years. Now the NFL has finally caught up to me on this. Cam Robinson, the starting left tackle, who's an NFL journeyman and you don't want as your starting left tackle. Joel Bitonio, who's entering the final year of a contract and is an aging offensive lineman, was an elite guard at his best play. Now he's a good run blocker, not so good as a pass blocker. And honestly, this is a matchup that Cam Hayward has owned over the years. Due to the lack of length that Bitonio has, Cam's been able to get into his chest and move him pretty easily over the years. Their center, Luke Whippler, is just a guy. Right guard, Wyatt Teller, also on the last year of his deal, also not playing his best ball. Right tackle, KV Levinston, that's not their normal starter either. So Conklin, obviously no longer healthy enough to play, which is something that we're used to hearing. As Steelers fans that see the Browns twice a year, Conklin is one of those offensive tackles that's almost always injured. So these are basically backup tackles and interior guys that are either at the end of their careers or just not very effective anymore. So the opportunity is absolutely there for this Steelers defensive front to just dine. Just absolutely go to the buffet, eat it up, and yeah. There's no reason they should not get a lot of pressure and stop the run pretty easily in this game. Although if there's one thing this offensive line does well, it's run block. They are just horrific as pass blockers.
And speaking of pressure to dine, we're going to pressure you to dine at our favorite eating establishment, also known as the Edinburgh Hotel Bar.
Support for Steelers by the Lake podcast is provided in part by the Edinburgh Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinburgh, offering a variety of lunch and dinner items every day, plus catering services and a large room for private parties. Information is available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinburghhotelbar.com. All right, over to the defensive side of things for the Browns, which is the best part for them. Obviously, you can't talk about the Browns defense without starting with Myles Garrett, who's just on a record-setting pace this year. I see the scowl on Jill's face right now. That's how my heart feels whenever I hear this guy's name. Especially when you see the highlights from this year and see so many sacks of him being completely unblocked or only having to beat one offensive player.
I listened to a podcast, which is always, I listen to one podcast other than this one. But I heard one of the beat writers for Cleveland talk about how he can play either side. And I went, right, he goes and plays his favorable side, which I guess is true for any player in the league, sure. But when you're right. I'm like,
not TJ.
No, TJ. No. Right.
He stays
right.
Yep.
Right. It's just, again, proves our point of there is no argument who is better. And I don't want to see any records had at this game. So our O-line better just have a day. That's all I'm saying.
Couldn't agree with you more. Pass rusher opposite of whichever side Myles decides is his more favorable matchup will be Alex Wright. And then on the interior, they start Shelby Harris and Mason Graham. Mason Graham being the rookie first-round defensive tackle that they made sure to get still in that top 5, who has not had a good season when you look at his production. I want to say he has 1/2 of a sack for the entire season so far. And last I saw, it was less than 25 tackles on the season as well. So,
that's not a good look. Okay.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of pressures on the quarterback because he's very quick. But he has short arms, and he only did 20 reps on a bench. That's what you expect out of running backs and safeties. Even like tight ends and linebackers, you want more than 20. So when you're D tackle that you take 5th overall, who has short arms, which is advantageous for benching, that makes it easier. You don't have to go anywhere near as far.
Right.
When they only do 20 reps, it just shows you didn't put the time in the gym that you should have. So beyond that, the linebacker room, they've got 3 of them, showing that they have a 4-3 defense. We've got a Will linebacker and a Sam linebacker. There's our red flag. That's our 4-3 defense. So Will linebacker, Jerome Baker. Sam linebacker, this might sound familiar to most Steeler fans, Devin Bush, having himself a pretty good season from what I understand. And then their middle linebacker, the rookie Carson Schweschinger, who's having himself a very nice season for them. Looking like probably their best pick in the whole draft, to be fair. Him and Harold Fanning, those are the marquee pieces from this last draft class. Going to the secondary, Tyson Campbell, who they traded for midseason, and Denzel Ward are their starting corners. Grant Delpit and Ronnie Hickman at safety. They don't list a starting nickel corner, so I'm not sure who it is that they start at nickel, but Miles Harden and D'Angelo Ross are listed as the backup corner, so I'm assuming one of those guys will be their nickel corner. So
I have Miles Harden listed here. But
is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, but he's also listed as questionable, so.
Like a lot of their team. Like the morals of Myles Garrett. Very questionable. So anything you guys want to talk about on any of this? I understand there's a very concentrated plan to make sure that Dylan Cook or anyone opposite of Myles Garrett gets help all day long. The effort will be very high to keep him off of the quarterback. But, this is something that a friend of the show, Dylan Sonny, he actually messaged me. This is a friend of Cody's. And he said he was listening to a podcast where they were talking about the real possibility of, if the Packers beat the Ravens, the Steelers possibly starting Mason Rudolph instead of starting Aaron Rodgers, which would put Mason Rudolph versus Myles Garrett, which we probably have not seen since the whole helmet ripping incident. And the nasty things that Myles Garrett claimed about Mason Rudolph that proved to be untrue.
I think we should just play with no helmets. Nobody gets a helmet.
Yeah, looking at
today.
and if there's no helmets, I would like to vote for Y.A. Black opposite of Myles Garrett, so that he can go ahead and fist fight him, because I think that'll work out well in our favor.
Looking at the Browns, Garrett's stats with the Browns this year, he was held to no sacks 3 times. Detroit, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh. So we had him in the first matchup, and his most sacks came against New England, who's one of the top contenders, and they still couldn't beat him. So take that. But I don't expect this to be too difficult. If Aaron does play, which again, if it doesn't matter, I almost hope he doesn't, just because I'd rather him be fresh and not potentially re-aggravate his wrist or anything along those lines. I know he's back to being full now, but if we don't have to risk it, I'd much rather have it for the playoffs than put you out there and risk something else. And I'm fine with being in the 4 seed as opposed to the 3 seed. As of right now, I believe that would have us facing the Chargers at home, which I think is a very winnable game. So I would much rather see Aaron out at that point. But I do believe that Aaron gives us a leg up on the Garrett sack numbers. There was one play, I think it was Micah Parsons in the Packers game, where Parsons was bringing Rodgers down, or somebody on the Packers was bringing Rodgers down, and he's about to take a sack, and he's able to just barely get rid of the ball at Jaylen Warren's feet to avoid both the sack and the intentional grounding. So Rodgers just kind of has that football IQ where he's able to have the presence of mind in those kind of moments to sometimes get you out of those situations, which could benefit us in keeping Garrett out of the sack thing. If he gets it, he gets it. But again, it's more indicative of his style of play, in my opinion, than of actual talent. And I know Browns fans are going to be all up in arms about that. I'm sure some other people will be all up in arms about that. But when you go up against the most favorable matchup on every snap, you're going to have a little bit easier of a time, especially when you're more athletic than that guy 100% of the time. TJ doesn't do that. TJ does what the team needs, and that's why we love TJ. It doesn't always lead to the same numbers, but he did it anyway one year. And obviously this year he couldn't, and Browns fans would be like, oh, where was TJ?
All over
He
the field.
punctured his lung and he was out for several weeks. I mean, obviously he's not going to have the same, you know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't his fault his lung got punctured either. So you'll look over past seasons and you'll not see the injuries and the other things. And obviously that plays a factor, is like how can you be on the field? But yeah, there's much more that goes into these things than just the numbers. And I mean, if he gets it, he gets it, and he'll have it, and that'll be a thing. But then it'll just be more motivation for TJ to blow his record out of the water next year. So,
Absolutely, yeah. You got to hope that they'll have a good plan with Darnell Washington helping out, and that should be plenty. But we'll see how things play out here. Special teams always make a big difference in things. And one thing that we've talked about in the past is the reputation of Corey Bjorka as the punter for the Browns, who's a very good punter, not being as good of a placeholder. He is also their placeholder. Last week, he was unable to get a snap down, and they missed a field goal because of it. So something that could play into the hands of things. I'm sure he's a little bit shaken in his confidence from that. Their kicker, Andre Sismite, probably butchered that one. Sorry.
I think it might actually be Schmidt, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might actually just be Schmidt, but I don't quote me.
That's the craziest spelling of Schmidt I've ever seen.
Yeah. What do you got, Teach? How would we phonetically pronounce this?
I have no idea, because Y is clearly a vowel, but it wouldn't be. I have no idea.
That's the only vowel he's got, man. Somebody help this guy out. Buy him a vowel.
I'd like to buy a vowel, James.
Give him an O or an A or something. I don't know. Dylan Sampson returning kicks for the Browns. We've got Gage Larvadian at punt returner, and then Rex Sunahara, former practice squad player for the Steelers, the long snapper for the Browns. So some familiar faces there as well. And hopefully I don't have to struggle to say that kicker's name anymore.
Pronounced Schmidt. According to Google, it is pronounced Schmidt.
Woo! Good call, Nick.
I went to go listen to it. I was like,
I don't. Google's pronunciation thing does not pronounce my name right, so I don't trust it.
Oh, okay, fair.
but the when you try to do the voice thing anyway, the voice doesn't get it right as much as just the phonetic spelling of everything. But I said it's pronounced like Schmidt.
Schmidt. All right, I can handle it. I don't know where the I and the D are, but we'll take it.
I think is it
imagination?
Yeah. Right.
It's one of those ones that
it's Believe Land, right? Cleveland, the Believe Land. We believe it's Schmidt. It is Schmidt.
Oh my gosh.
Well, one thing I believe in is us having good keys to success for these games and those translating, because I feel like we really kind of nailed it last week. I'm going to flip back here because I honestly think that we nailed our keys pretty good last week on some of them. Nick had limit the top rusher under 70 yards. The whole team only got 15.
Yep.
So that's saying something. Yep. I had a big focus on the tackles for loss and sacks by the D linemen. I asked for 6 total. They had 4, but that was a dominating presence on the interior. Nick said 3 catches from Freiermuth and Washington, and I believe they got that, right, Nick? I think both of them had it. I know there was
one.
Yeah, there was 4 for Freiermuth, I think.
I think I asked for 60 yards, but I think it ended up being like 50, I think I ended up being like 56, which was right on that threshold. So can't complain too much.
right,
And
Nick.
then I had allow 1 sack or less, and they only allowed 2. So the protection was right about where it needed to be.
Love it.
So let's talk today. Who wants to go first? Who wants to give the first key to success to beating the Cleveland Browns?
I want to hear Nick since he's on fire.
Nick,
Oh,
let's
okay,
go.
okay.
You get the starting round.
Y'all put
All
me
right.
on the spot first all the time. So
Well,
Nick, it's your
Jill
turn.
might regret this because I think I'm going to steal one of hers just because I
Dang
want it to happen. I want Myles Garrett to get no sacks.
0 sacks.
hold that man to 0. Preferably hold the team to 0. I think if you hold Garrett to it, you probably do hold the team to 0. But I want to put particular attention on that. I think Pittsburgh is going to be motivated to do so to keep TJ tied for the record. So hopefully the offensive line shows up and shows out against Garrett. Keep that man to 0 sacks. Keep whichever quarterback we trot out there upright. Maybe we get to see some Will Howard time if there's some garbage time at the end and Aaron's a healthy scratch for health purposes. So I would like to see Will Howard and Mason Rudolph, and if Aaron Rodgers is out there, Aaron Rodgers stay upright.
Awesome. Jill, do you want to go next, or you want to do 2 at the turn?
It doesn't matter to me. I can
All
go
right,
next.
I'm going to go next then.
All
I'm
right,
going to give you back-to-back ones. It's
All right.
easier for me writing them down. So my first key is going to be to get after Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, damn.
You let him go, Jill. You did it to yourself.
I did. It's my own fault.
She gave me the choice, so I jumped out in front of her. So I think this is going to be one of those games with how weak the offensive line is in pass blocking, with some of their top targets being gone in Quinshon Juggins, in the David Njoku injury, Harold Fannin playing on an injured groin. I'm assuming he's going to play just because without him, they're really, really in trouble. So I'm going to say 5 sacks. I want to see at least 5 sacks on Shedeur. I think that's a very doable number against this offensive line in a young quarterback who's prone to scrambling in the wrong direction when pressure comes. And sometimes just going straight backwards, which is great for your outside linebackers because then he's going to run right into where you're going. So I'm going at least 5 sacks, and I will not be surprised if they get more than that.
Yeah. That was it. I wasn't going to do a sack prediction, but I did. I want us to get in Shedeur's head, and because he is prone to making mistakes. I mean, he's a rookie. He's got a big name that he's carrying, and so I feel like if this is his first chance going up against Pittsburgh, I think if we can get in his head and just make him doubt and make him doubt his receivers, make him doubt his ability to get out of the pocket and like scramble and run, we will win the game. But I would like to see batted passes, just down batted passes. I mean, at least 5, I think would be incredible. If they turn for turnovers, like I'd like to see at least 4 turnovers for us, and however that looks like, if that's strip sack, if that's interception, forced fumbles, I'd like to see. Look at that. There's my 2. Wow. Easier than I thought. I just got to start talking. External processors here. We just have to. It's got to give us space.
All works out.
But I think batting down passes would get in Shedeur's head of like, oh, I can't, forcing him to either throw quicker or hold on to the ball longer, which would then lead to your 5 sacks or lead to the 4 turnovers that I hope to see.
Absolutely. Now that gets me back up on the board here, and I'm going to say the next thing that I want to see is Pittsburgh continuing this success in the run game. We've seen a really nice example the last couple of weeks. Last week, 230 yards rushing, the best performance Pittsburgh's had on the ground on the season. The week before was a nice performance on the ground also. Let's keep it rolling. I want to see 180 yards rushing for the Steelers, and I think this is very doable. Also goes hand in hand. If you want to keep Myles Garrett from sacking your quarterback, have some success running the ball and run at him. Make him tired attempting to defend the run, and then that will absolutely help with your ability to stop him from sacking your quarterback by getting after them in the run game.
I agree.
I like it, James. I think, and look who we got joining us for the keys to success here. Mr. Cody Tanner able to get his setup working for a little while. I think we might need to let him get his in here since I've already got one in. Cody, we're on the keys to success. What are you thinking we need to do to win this game here?
Not gonna lie, I hopped on to see if my internet was working. I did not expect you guys to still be live. So, totally didn't expect this. But what keys were already shared? Just real quick, so I know.
Here's what you got: Myles Garrett being held to 0 sacks, 5+ sacks for the Steelers defense, 5+ passes broken up by the Steelers, 4 forced fumbles or forced turnovers by the Steelers, and the Steelers running for 180+ yards. Nick has not given his second key quite yet.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of steal from Jill a little bit in the sense of sustained drives. I want to see our offense be on the field at least 5 more minutes in total than the Browns offense, which doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things. But time of possession is huge.
Excellent. That makes sense to me. Do you want Nick to give his final one, and then you can throw us another one? Sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So James kind of went on the rushing attack. I want to show this Cleveland Browns defense, who is more staunch against the pass than they are against the run, that even without DK Metcalf, that we still own them, as Ben Roethlisberger would say, the owner of the Cleveland Browns himself. We have not had a victory in Cleveland, I believe, since Big Ben was with us in Cleveland.
Yes.
So I would like to see us come out on top with a passing attack and the rushing attack. So I want to see at least 100 yards passing. I think that's very, very doable, but I'm going to get it actually higher. I want to see at least 200 yards passing, because I think that this Browns defense, I'm trying to get it up here, but I couldn't get it. Cody can fact check me later, or maybe now if he's able to. But I don't think they've been allowing a whole ton of passing yards this year. It said when I'm trying to get it up here, all I'm getting is they're better against the pass than they are against the run. So I would really like to see at least 200 passing yards from this offense, because I think if we lean too heavily on the run game, we're going to be one-dimensional. So I think very doable if Aaron Rodgers is in, because I don't know that Mason Rudolph or Will Howard would be able to do as much. So that's why I'm kind of tempering the expectation there, because I don't know who the signal caller is going to be for us this week, depending on what the result of the Ravens game is.
I was just going to ask, are you asking for 200 with Aaron, or are you expecting Mason to do that? Because
I'm asking for 200 with whoever's out there. Even if we throw Will Howard out there, I want him getting 200 yards.
All right.
Seems fair. I mean, 200 doesn't seem like it's asking that much, but if you're able to have that much success against them in the air, then you got to expect good results in the end. So I like that key for sure. Cody, you got a final one for us?
Yeah. Final key to success for me is going to be putting the pedal to the metal and not letting up. I want to see, and this is more of a goal than a key to success, I would argue. But I want to see us win by double digits. I don't want this game to be close. I want our offense, no matter who's at the helm, to put this team in their place. The Browns are the bottom of the division for a reason. They've won, 3 games so far all year?
Correct.
Yep.
I mean, freaking, you should be able to put in anybody on that roster at quarterback, and we should be able to come out with a victory. So as long as you block Myles Garrett.
All right, that brings us to score predictions. So let's go around the room here. Jill, you want to go first on score predictions?
Well, here's the thing. Boys, listen up. Here's the thing. In my heart, I feel like the Steelers will win. However, there's any given Sunday, any team can march out on that field and have a dominant performance, no matter how injured you are. And I don't know what Steeler team will show up. We're in Cleveland. We always split the division historically and cannot sweep the Browns. So unfortunately, you know what? For the past 3 weeks, I've gone against the Steelers, and it's been good. So I'm going to do it again. I think I'm going to predict the Browns to win, even though we know fundamentally I hate that. and I don't really believe it fully with my heart, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say the Browns are going to win, but it's gonna be some like weird score where it's like 20-19, like something ridiculous by 1 point. Like it's not gonna be. I mean, I hope for Cody's key to success where we blow him out by double digits. That's really what I want. But prove me wrong, Steelers.
There it is. Cody, do you want to pop yours in next?
Yes, because I'm gonna hop out after I do this real quick. So,
Yeah.
my score prediction is gonna be a weird one as well. 22-10 Pittsburgh.
22-10 Pittsburgh. Cody picking the Steelers to win for the first time in I think 3 years now.
Maybe 3 weeks. All right, y'all. We'll talk later.
All right, later, Cody.
There, Cody.